With so many of the new game releases being just disappointing, I've been finding myself looking back at past games that I've played more and more. And one such game is, of course, Destiny 2, to kind of fill the hole that first person shooters have just left me with for so long. I really, really wanted Destiny to be like my thing. And I'm really, really salty about how Destiny 1 played out and how the beta for that made it look like it was going to be a first person shooter MMORPG. And instead, it was kind of, well, it was Destiny 1. And then I told myself that I wasn't going to fall for the thing that Destiny 2 did, and, well, I fell for it. And then I got talked into sticking it out and getting some expansions for it, and it just didn't get any better. And again, when you know something is bad, but you just don't know how bad, sometimes it's a good idea to get some information from somebody else's perspective, because I'm not going back to Destiny. I can't. But what we're about to watch is apparently going to reinforce all of the reasons why. So let's take a look at that.
To the tower. Silver is a new currency coming to Destiny that is bought with real money. This is the introduction of microtransactions into Destiny, but
So
I've
7
never
years
had
ago.
a problem with cosmetic microtransactions. A lot of people will now mention the slippery slope argument. Yes, Dado, we start with shaders, emblems, emotes, but who is to say that they
I
won't
remember that.
introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future? If we see legendary guns for sale, if we see legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 motes of light for $5, I'm gonna be mad. I don't want to see power sold. I don't want to see shortcuts to power sold. Nothing. I don't want to see weapon parts, ammo synths, nothing. If Bungie does cross that line, you have my rage.
Uh-oh. Somebody must be very, very angry then.
Guys, I hate to say it, but now may be the time to start raging. Now, I'm going to preface this by saying, no, this is not a joke video. When it comes to greedy corporate monetization practices, to us, this is really not a laughing matter. Those clips you just watched are from a 7-year-old video Dado posted in Destiny 1 about a month after the release of The Taken King, and my god, it has aged like fine wine. Today, we'll be talking about the state of microtransactions inside of Destiny 2, because over the last several
It's really
years,
bad in
and
Destiny 2.
this past year, we have seen a dramatic increase in monetization for anything and everything Bungie gets.
Hold on, let me go back.
Microtransactions inside of Destiny 2, because over the last several years, and increasingly this past year, we have seen a dramatic increase.
The last time that I tried to play Destiny 2, and I remember because I was going to try and do I was going to continue my dungeon series using some Destiny 2 dungeons. This right here popped up constantly. And not just for Lightfall, it was all of the expansions and the season passes or whatever that I didn't already own, as well as like the 35th anniversary thing. There were like 4 of these things, like dismiss, another one pops up, dismiss, another one pops up. It was infuriating.
Increase in monetization for anything and everything Bungie can slap behind a paywall. This includes raising prices, creating new avenues for spending, double dipping into the existing player base, and giving players blatant pay-to-win benefits. Now, here are the timestamps on the screen for each topic covered in this video. This is going to be a long one, so grab your popcorn. And one thing I ask before you leave a comment criticizing or even defending Bungie, please watch this video in its entirety. We're going to cover a lot of ground today because I want all of us here to have a full perspective on how bad microtransactions have become over the past 7 years. And maybe by the end of this video, when all Bungie schemes are on the table, you will share my concern for what this game may look like 7 years in the future.
It's not real. Free to play is a joke.
Now,
It's a
first
lie.
off, I want to set the record straight. Destiny 2 is not a free-to-play game. It's a free-to-try game. It's very important we are all
Like
on
I
the
just
same
got
page
done
here,
saying.
because this is the most common justification for the use of microtransactions across the industry, and the biggest illusion Bungie tries to spin in their marketing. Microtransactions in real free-to-play content makes
Let me move
perfect
over.
sense. If you're not paying to purchase the actual software, then the developers are completely justified in generating revenue using other means. Usually,
Sure.
this is just in the form
Okay.
of cosmetic
I
items
agree with that.
players purchase for digital fashion, fun, or even clout. But developers can also
I think the term free to play has been definitely overused, because a free to play game is supposed to have all of its content be available from the word go without any sort of payment. That's what it means to be a free to play game. Genshin Impact is a free to play game. You don't have to buy quests, you don't have to buy regions. Honkai Star Rail is a free to play game. Trying to think of some more. I guess. Let's see, there's a lot of free to play MMOs. Yeah.
also use more shady techniques like loot boxes, bonuses, or even additional content to persuade players to spend more money. With that being said, Destiny, even after becoming free-to-play in 2019, has never actually been free-to-play. Matter of fact, Sweatsigo even made a video a couple weeks ago documenting the experience of a free-to-play player in Destiny, which I highly recommend giving a watch. In a nutshell, after completing the introduction quests and missions, free-to-play players can access Strikes, Crucible, Gambit, the Prophecy Dungeon, Vault of Glass, King's Fall, Open World, and Dares of Eternity. On the surface, that actually seems like a decent amount of free content, but is it actually? Compared to the massive amount of content in Destiny, this is just a fraction of what the majority of players have access to. You don't even get a campaign in free-to-play. You get rituals, quests, and a couple of high-end activities. Let's compare this to some...
So yeah, apparently the original Destiny 2 campaign has been removed or something like that. I don't fully know. Originally Destiny 2 had a bit where like you have your light taken from you and you go to different planets to try and get it back, because that's your ability to revive and stuff like that. I don't think that that's in the game anymore. The campaign is gone. They took out the campaign. Anyway.
Other free-to-play games, shall we? Starting with arguably the most popular free-to-play game, Fortnite. There are plenty of microtransactions
Yeah, Fortnite
in
is free-to-play,
but all of them
absolutely.
are strictly for cosmetics. Even the seasonal battle pass, which you can pay for, is earnable via just playing the game. Granted, that would take a while. The free version of the battle pass gives you V-Bucks that you can save up to buy the paid version. And as long as you play enough to complete the battle pass each season, you can earn enough to repurchase it again next season. 100% completely free. There's even some currency left over you can choose to save, or even spend in the shop if you want to buy some cosmetics. Next up, we have Warframe. Yes, I know comparing Destiny and Warframe is kind of a touchy
Warframe
subject.
is another
Warframe
free-to-play
is
game.
also a free-to-play game. The Nightweave Battle Pass is completely free.
I
The
forgot.
updates are free, and you can earn the paid currency in the game's player-driven market. So it too is essentially free. Now these are just two prime examples, and
Funny story about the player-driven market in Warframe, a game that I also used to play a lot of. Apparently, the developers actually trade platinum to players under like different named accounts in order to feed it a little bit more if platinum sales are low. So in order to keep the economy going, they will at times jumpstart it by just giving out platinum. Or not giving it out, but trading it into the economy so that more people who are trading have platinum to trade.
And I could dive
Very
into more,
interesting.
but I think you get the point.
If
These
it's
games
true.
grant you
It's just a
access
rumor.
to all the actual gameplay content for free. In Destiny, you get maybe 10% of the content for free, which means this is not exactly free to play. That's a free trial. Destiny is by no means the first to do it, though. Remember the light versions of apps back in the early days of iPhone? Every major game had a free light version. Essentially a demo.
Actually,
Angry
no,
Birds
I don't.
Lite, Minecraft Lite, Light Bike Lite. I don't have a problem with free trials, but free trial and free to play have been commingled so much that players can't differentiate between the two. Another common trait of free trials is that they're full of ads. As a new light player, the number of pop-ups you receive in game telling you to buy more content is ludicrous. Don't be fooled.
It's
Bungie
annoying.
offers
It
a
is
free trial of
absolutely
Destiny 2, and if you want to
inexcusable.
play the full version, you have to pay money. Lots and lots of money.
Oh, gosh, yep. Yep.
Now, Destiny 2 has a lot of paid content, but quite frankly,
Hopefully, I don't have to explain why what's on the screen right now is a gigantic problem.
it's confusing as hell. You got the Lightfall plus annual pass, or Lightfall by itself, the Legacy Collection, which includes Witch Queen, Beyond Light, and Shadowkeep, the 30th
I don't have
Anniversary
it.
Pack, Witch Queen,
I don't
Beyond
have
Light
it.
separately, as well as Shadowkeep
I have Beyond
separately,
Light. I don't have
Forsaken
Shadowkeep.
Pack, and the
I do
Armory
have
Collection,
Forsaken.
which includes
I don't
both
have the Armory
Forsaken
Collection.
and the 30th Anniversary Pack. There's so
Wait,
many
what?
different bundles for old content that, quite frankly, this is absurd. I have so many people that come into the stream that ask, which one do I buy? And quite frankly, how in the hell is someone new to the game supposed to navigate all of this? Now, here's a novel idea. Why don't Bungie just bundle everything? Literally, just the everything bundle. All
They did that
content
for
the year of
Destiny 1.
Lightfall, or the Lightfall plus annual pass, or the Legacy content bundle, which includes all those old things that tends to confuse the piss out of everyone. Now, if you need to itemize old expansions for players who want to purchase a single piece of content, that's fine. But even this list is already so much simpler than what Bungie already offers. Then you may be asking, why does this not exist already? Spoiler alert, there's no singular bundle for all of old Destiny content because Bungie refuses to improve the new player experience for the sake of decreased revenue. If they care more about the player base than the extra cash, they would bundle all the old content under one
Right.
single
That's the thing, right? Not doing this is actually hurting their sales. It's hurting them financially. Because there are people who look at this and go, no, I don't want any of it. Because it doesn't make sense, and I'm not going to decipher this.
Content bundle instead of nickel and diming
This
to
puzzle.
players. Now, why is the Forsaken Pack, a bundle containing a raid, a dungeon, and some exotic weapons and armor still even a thing? It also used to contain 9 supers for each light subclass as well, and those were added into free-to-play because locking supers behind paywalls was stupid, and what remains is what new players are still paying for. Now, why was the 30th anniversary update even a separate paid add-on in the
What
first
is it?
place?
I don't
Remember
know
when
what it
Bungie
is.
updated the game with cool content for free? Some new players might not remember, but the April update in Destiny 1 was a free update to the game that increased light level, added a new story mission, quests, revamps of old strikes, updates to the Prison of Elders, chroma gear for custom armor glows, a new taken set of armor, reprised exotics, and legendary weapons. All of this for free. It was like a mini
A free
expansion that we
update,
got as a
okay.
gift from Bungie. Fast forward a year ago, if you didn't pre-order the deluxe edition of Witch Queen, you had to dish out $25 to get access to things like the Grasp of Avarice dungeon, Galahorn, and a bunch of cosmetics. Yes, there were parts of this update that were free, like Dares of Eternity, which is a completely new activity, and I understand that a lot of developer work went into creating these, but I bring this up to draw a comparison of how things used to be 7 years ago. The reality is, if the 30th anniversary update was released in Destiny 1, we would have received it completely free.
So here's how bad this is, right? He just got done explaining it. I have no idea still what content is in that 30th anniversary pack. Like, yeah, armor and weapons, but is there a game mode in it? Locations? Is it dungeons? Like what? I still don't know. What the
Now, the 30th
dungeon
anniversary
keys?
update was also the tipping point that introduced dungeon keys to Destiny 2. These have got to be one of the most divisive double
Okay, I've played Destiny 2 since the 30th anniversary pack came out. I didn't even know that this was a. I don't know what this is.
Ever made. For those of you who don't know, dungeon keys were added in the Witch Queen. Bungie releases 2 dungeons each year, and if you don't buy the deluxe edition, that being the expansion plus annual pass, you also have to buy these separately. Both dungeons are sold together for 2,000 silver. This is Bungie's in-game currency, which equates to $20. No longer are dungeons included in seasonal content, which made a lot of us scratch our heads asking, what the hell, Bungie? This only makes paying for content more confusing, and we know it to be a fact from first-hand experience. One of our part-time editors bought Season of the Deep to play the dungeon and didn't realize Ghost of the Deep was not included in Season of the Deep, meaning he had to go buy the dungeon key after buying the season to play what he actually wanted to play. If one of us can make that mistake, how much easier is it for a new player who has never played Destiny to make that mistake as well? The title for the dungeon trailer on YouTube even suggests that it's included with the Season of the Deep. You will only find out
the season was supposed to have the dungeon.
Bungie's website or visit the activity directly.
It
or
doesn't
visit the last page in
anymore.
every store, which we know a decent portion of new players will not know how to do.
Oh gosh, what a nightmare.
Okay, so dungeons no longer ship alongside seasonal content. Surely the price of seasons deserve to be lower, right? No. Bungie raised the price of seasonal content. If you want to buy a season by itself, it used to cost only $10. And honestly, for 6 weeks of story, some cool cutscenes, access to the multiplayer activities and new gear, I would have argued that it was a great deal. But then Bungie increased the price.
In those
and you know
seasons?
what? Fair enough. Adjust for inflation, gotta put food on the table. It makes sense. Bungie announced in a twab they were increasing the price of seasons from 1,000 silver to 1,200 silver, which puts us at $10 a season to now $12 per season. Or does it? You see, when you buy silver, Bungie gives you a little extra for each purchase. And the bigger the purchase, the extra you get. So when you buy $10 worth of silver, that being 1,000, actually gets 1,100 silver. That's so generous of them. Funny how that works too,
You
because
can't
that's
buy
just
the exact
short
amount that you need
needed
for
to buy a new expansion. So to buy an individual season, you need to purchase $15 worth of silver, not 12. Meaning
so
Bungie actually
scummy.
raised the price by $5 because you can't buy seasons with real money. You have to buy them with Bungie's tokens. They're fake money. Now I'm surprised too, considering how cluttered the Steam store is already with expansions, which by the way, you can buy with real money. Why not just add each season there too? Make an annual season pack? Hell, folks are already confused. You might as well add it. Something tells me
there
you
are
won't
seasons.
ever
Wait.
see a $12
Destiny 2 Season of Defiance, Season of the Deeps. Oh, this is fake.
already
He added that
confused,
there
you
for
might as well add it. Something tells me we won't ever see a $12 silver purchase option anytime soon. Luckily, Bungie added the $15 option right before Season of the Deep, and even created a $100 silver purchase option too. So if you want to
Oh,
big
they
grow
think
the
they're
project
slick.
even more, that's a lot easier for you. And guess what? You thought a $5 increase was bad? Let's take a trip down to the Microsoft and Epic Game Store, where there is no $15 silver option. The next highest is $20. You're now paying Bungie double the price for a new season. Guys, that's just borderline evil. Thankfully, any players who use these platforms are not completely screwed. Bungie does offer a $15 seasonal silver bundle as well, but not only is it separate from the other silver purchase options, it also doesn't advertise how much silver it gives. You actually have to click into it to see how much silver you are buying. But hey, it comes with the free emotes. Am I right? I do want to be clear. I'm not against silver existing or people buying silver. I've bought plenty of silver. I'll even meet Bungie halfway. I'm not against paying $12 for a season, but it's these shady,
why not?
scummy, underhanded tactics.
At
that
least
Bungie
just let us
keeps
pay
using
the
that
exact
pisses me
amount of
off.
money so
Bungie,
we can
if
be
you're gonna
done with
raise
it.
the price of a season to $15, at least have the balls to just tell us straight. I shouldn't need to perform mental gymnastics to decipher a change in pricing structure like it's a day one raid encounter. It's not the price increase that rubs me wrong. It's how Bungie intentionally designed it to siphon more money while deceiving the community into thinking it was less.
Cash of Osiris. That's funny.
All right, this whole video has been pretty tame up until now. That's all going to change when we talk about seasonal events and event cards. Event cards are the singular worst paid item ever added to Destiny. Last year, Bungie had the
I don't know
idea
what this is
to
either.
add event cards to Destiny. These are filled with event challenges. That
Oh, okay,
rank
I do know what these
materials,
are. I did
event
do some of
cosmetics,
these.
weapons, etc. This card was introduced as Bungie's solution to simplify in-game events, making it easier for players to reference what they needed to do to earn more rewards and
Yeah, I can actually attest to this. They actually made it way more complicated. It's essentially just a quest log with a lot more extra steps. And half the time I wasn't even sure what I was doing them, like what I was working to unlock. I was just doing it because it was a task that was there.
Complete the event title. Their solution? Plaster a giant pay to unlock button on the front of the event card to earn more rewards. You heard me right. You have to pay 1,000 silver, $10, for the privilege of completing challenges so you can earn these extra rewards. It's essentially a mini battle pass that is already inside of a seasonal battle pass model. If you don't complete the challenges, you don't get any rewards. And even worse, players often don't know that it only gives you 4 cosmetics. All the others on the card are free. This microtransaction.
Okay, so I did the free ones, not the. I was confused because I never upgraded anything.
Because if you don't buy it immediately, Bungie wants you to stare at it for 3 weeks while you finish all your other challenges, slowly seducing you to part with $10 for a couple extra cosmetics. But Cross, it's only cosmetics. What's the big deal? That is the big deal. Events in Destiny 2 are only about cosmetics, and over 90% of the cosmetics you have to pay for. Surprise!
So
Just
the
like
events aren't even events anymore.
Not included.
They want you to pay for
pass purchase. You want to know
the
why
point of doing an event.
It's because
and you still have to do the tasks that get it anyway. So if you mess up or you can't,
$10. New emotes, $10. Ghost shells, ghost projections, finishers, the list goes on. Money, money, money. It's so bad that Festival of the Lost has eternally been dubbed Festival of the Costs. Why would I want to participate in events where I get one gun and have nothing else meaningful to work towards? Normally I have zero problem with paying for cosmetics because cosmetics are just the extra cherry on top. I already pay for my content, and if I want to spend a little more, that's my choice. The problem with events is the cosmetics are the content. It's all over the marketing. It's in the silver shop. It's on my event challenge card. Events became unfun a long time ago because the content came second to the cosmetics. Yes, it is possible for cosmetic microtransactions to ruin video games. Just look at Halo Infinite. Part of the reason why it was received so poorly, beside the lack of co-op and mediocre campaign, was because all avenues of customization were locked behind paywalls. This was always one of Halo's greatest strengths. The Master Chief Collection on Steam still has free live service seasonal content. You purchase the game once, get to play some of the best games ever made by Bungie and 343, and visual progression.
Yeah, the Master Chief Collection is indeed a fantastic deal. Absolutely.
Hell. Best $40 I've ever spent. Even less when it goes on sale. Events have become just another way, though, to squeeze more money and double dip into the player base in preparation for the next season, and it just keeps getting worse. Is Bungie in the moral wrong for promoting more cosmetics during an event? No. Do I have the right to call events in Destiny boring and being mid as hell? Because there is little to no loot tied to them that you can actually earn. Yes, we do have that right. And because events are quote-unquote free to all players, there is zero monetary incentive for Bungie to spend time on anything more than creating the most attractive Destiny shopping mall.
It's a commercial.
I would love for Bungie to prove me wrong on this one because I like the idea of events.
The events are, the quote-unquote events are just commercials for the new cosmetics, and that's how they entice you to buy them. You do the event and you're like, man, I didn't really get anything out of this. But if I spend some money, I just might get, I'll get some cool stuff.
They're supposed to be fun, but there's nothing fun to do during those 3 weeks unless you like spending more money. The way you fix events in Destiny is by investing in the player experience. Supremacing during Guardian games is a great first step, but that existed as a base game mode in Destiny 1. So we really can't give brownie points here for something Bungie gave back to us from 6 years ago. Provide players who don't want to spend money, meaningful gameplay or rewards
a race.
for their time, and
I didn't know that there was racing. I've never done any race event in Destiny or Destiny 2 that I can remember. For silver.
Now this next gripe is more of a PSA. Do I have anything against paid cosmetics existing in Destiny? No. However, I don't know if you've been paying attention, but the cost for everything in Eververse store is insane. $15 per armor set. Exotic emotes can get as high as $12 each. Exotic ornaments, $6 each. And this all adds up very quickly, especially if you want to get one thing per character. The most recent price hike we've seen has been the collaboration armor sets. These started with the Epic Games collab during Season of the Plunder and have stayed stayed consistent
Collabing with
every
what?
collab since. Assassin's Creed, PlayStation, all of these armor sets
How
cost
is that Assassin's
2,000
Creed?
silver each. That's $20 for one set of armor. All of Destiny 1's, DLCs included, was on sale for just $20 just a few weeks ago. There's no universe where you can convince me that 3 armor sets cost $60 total, one for each class, by the way, and somehow that is
$20
worth the
for
same
each
price
class.
as a AAA game. Now, will people buy them? Obviously, yes. Will Bungie make lots of money? Yeah. Are we getting ripped off? You damn right. This isn't just Bungie doing this stuff. This is basically industry standard. In-game cosmetics are beyond expensive. It's your money, so spend it how you deem fit. But I figured while we're on the subject, I should make you doubly aware that everything in Eververse is very expensive and, dare I say, dramatically overpriced.
Which card?
Now, Bungie is constantly devising methods to make you spend more money in-game, whether you're a hardcore player or even free-to-play.
I think the part that has me the most upset is that they're getting away with it.
This season, Bungie added an Eververse recommended tab to the store, so you can find offers made just for you more easily. Earlier this year, Bungie added the ability to purchase weapon ornaments on actual weapons.
Like, this is obviously the sort of thing that I try and tell people about. I try to tell them to not do, not support.
With the new paint job.
But
this is also an obvious play to reduce the distance between the player and the purchase button. You cannot preview armor ornaments with shaders before you buy them. You have to purchase the armor, then you can see if that matches your look. If any of you remember, shaders used to cost 40 Bright Dust from Eververse. And if you're unfamiliar with Bright Dust, it's an in-game currency that you can't buy, but you can only spend on specific items in the Eververse store. It's designed to keep players engaged with the store, even if they haven't spent any money, in the hopes that they will spend money in the future. Anyway, Bungie raised the price of shaders from 40 to 300 Bright Dust, solely because they wanted to. Just another sink for Bright Dust, so you have less free money for armor, emotes, or anything else you want to buy. And
they might have a defense on this one. Back then, when it was cheaper, I think shaders were consumables, right? Like, you'd use them and then they'd disappear from your inventory. But when they changed that, I think that's when they might have increased the price. But don't quote me on that. So in making it that you could reuse shaders, they made them cost more because you'd have it forever.
They've also started locking shaders behind paid bundles too, and normally shaders would be frequently available.
I have no excuse for any of the rest of this stuff.
Of each season. Guys, it has been barely 3 weeks since the Season of the Deep launch at the time of this video, and no new shaders have been sold. Now, if you like ghost projections, don't take offense to what I'm about to say, but I am of the opinion that these cosmetics solely exist to inflate the Bright Ingram loophole. You could also make the argument that this is why Bungie makes so many cosmetics to begin with. Every new season, there are at least 9 new ships, sparrows, and ghosts. These are all sold in the Eververse store each season, but a majority of players will never see or want them. I wish I could tell you how many emotes and ghost projections exist in the game as of this moment, but Bungie does not put these items in player collections. Maybe someone with access to the API might know, but your average player has no clue. Inflating the Bright Ingram loophole means every time you level up,
so there's no information on how many of what there are in the game currently.
Store, and you get nothing of value, further encouraging players to spend to acquire coveted cosmetics. Now, if you're a new life player, when you visit Shawhan to pick up your first quests and bounties, you are greeted with an exotic in his inventory, except you can't collect this exotic. It's a short quest that you can only pick up after buying the most recent expansion. This year, it's Arbless and requires you to buy Linefall. Last year, it was Sweet Business and required you to buy the Witch Queen. No idea if Bungie removes these weapons from the loot pool for new lights or just pretends like they are part of the new expansion content, even though both of these weapons clearly belong in free-to-play given their age. Either way, shame on you, Bungie. Not only is this baiting players who haven't even played the game yet to spend money on an expansion, but you're doing it with content that has no business being tied to these new expansions. Now, what if I told you Destiny
It's a
has
messy
now approached
situation
pay
all
to win?
around.
Now, some of you may say that will never happen. Others of you may say it happened a long time ago. However, this season, definitively without
I
a
don't know.
shadow of a doubt,
I can't
has
make a call
now
on
pushed
that. I
Destiny
haven't been
2
playing too much.
into pay to win territory. Let me explain. In the past,
Okay.
we've brought up issues like character boosting. Essentially, you can pay $20 to skip the Destiny campaign and start unlocking your subclass and getting a head start on other content. I would make the argument that this is pay to win. In fact, we have made that argument in the past, and at the time, it was a pretty controversial subject. Another hot topic is expansion pre-order early exotic access. If you bought the
Paying
Lightfall
to
Deluxe
skip the
Edition
campaign
early,
is
you
not
unlock
only
Quicksilver
stupid,
Storm months before the
but I
Lightfall
guess it is
expansion was
considered
even
pay to win.
released. People who bought
More
the
like pay
base
to
version
lose
of
because you're
Lightfall had to wait
skipping the
until
game that you
Season
paid
of
for,
the Deep
whatever.
to use this exotic, which is literally over
Wait a
half a
second,
year.
hold on, because I gotta go. I gotta rant on this. Why on earth would you spend money on a game and then spend more money so that you can skip the game that you just got done paying to play? What?
Total in waiting. Now, we thought that the weapon was
Stupid.
pretty good in PvP. We called it pay to win. More people agreed, but yet again, controversial. The problem is, many people are reluctant to call Destiny a pay to win game. This hesitancy stems from one question: what is considered winning in Destiny? If you don't know what winning even means, then can you even win in Destiny? Let's try and break it down. What if we classify winning in Destiny as achieving certain in-game goals? Going flawless, completing a
Not hard
dungeon,
to-
raid, or nightfall. All of these
I
can be
mean-
considered winning because they are difficult challenges, and they reward the players who complete them
It's
with
a-
great loot. Actually, I
it's
believe
like a
we just found our
infinite
answer.
loop of
Winning in
grinding
Destiny
for
2 means
better
getting
gear.
great loot, whether it's armor or weapons. Great loot is the
Yeah,
reason
armor
why
and
people play
weapons
this
and
game. Strip everything else away.
paying
At
to
its
win
core, people
gives you
play
an
Destiny
advantage
so
to
they
get
can
those
earn
gears
loot and
so that
use
you can
that
get
loot
more
to
gear
complete
easy.
harder content, or
It's
enhance the
pretty
content
simple.
they already play, earning more great loot in the process. Owning better loot objectively gives you an advantage over other players in game. Need I mention the Immortal and Trials of Osiris or Gallon?
Don't know what
have
that is.
multiple
Don't know
points
what
in
that
Destiny
is.
Sandbox. That's why it's called a looter shooter. Loot isn't everything Destiny has to offer, but it affects every aspect of the gameplay experience. With that in mind, we can now assign a definition of pay to win in Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is pay to win when an unfair advantage in obtaining great loot is only accessible to players who spend more money than what is essential to play Destiny 2. If you have a better definition, I would love to read your suggestions in the comments below. But as of this moment, I believe this statement encapsulates pay to win in the context of Destiny 2 or any looter shooter quite well. All right, Cross, we get it. What's your point? Over the years, Bungie has been inching closer and closer to this pay to win line. And as of season 21, Season of the Deep, they finally
21
crossed it. Bungie
seasons.
opened the floodgates and are now allowing people to buy max rank for the entire season pass on day 1 of the new season. And you may be thinking, really, Cross? The season pass is not even pay to win. Is that right? Let's take a look, shall we? What does the Destiny season pass actually contain? Emotes? Shaders? Ornaments? What about XP bonuses? In-game materials? More
Wow.
weapon drops? Yeah, you can get those. Progression boosts? Season passes got them, fellas. Exotics? God roll legendary weapons? Every single one of those is available from the season pass, and every single one of these you can buy immediately for $100 at the beginning of a season. It didn't always used to be this way. Years ago, you couldn't even buy levels in the season pass. But then in Season the Undying, Bungie had a change of heart. You can now buy them, but it has to be at the end of the season. Bungie called it a catch-up mechanic, so no one would miss out if life got in the way. And it was from that moment the downward
catch-up
spiral
mechanic, huh?
began. Soon it was
That
available
happens to
purchase
cost
halfway
money.
through the season, then 3 weeks into the season. Now years later, it's available day 1 of a new season. Quite the catch-up mechanic. You only have 3 months to complete the season pass. Better buy the ranks now before they're gone. Good news, the bundle Bungie sells for the first season pass plus first 10 ranks also went up in price. And even better news, they'll be evaluating new approaches to post-launch content in the year of Final Shape, which is corporate code for another price increase to $15 next year. It all makes sense now. Why do you think Bungie added that $100 silver purchase option in Steam while simultaneously offering a new fully ranked season pass for $100? Seems
Oh.
awfully
You buy the $100 package and the bonus is enough for you to get the season pass. Then you use the actual $100 that you paid for in order to boost your way through it all. Ugh,
Convenient that
disgusting.
both these new features shipped at the same time. You know what else is strangely convenient? Deep sight
But you know
activation.
what?
For those of you who are unaware, deep sight is used to grant patterns for
Honestly,
crafting weapons.
I can't
in
even be
Destiny.
mad at
Once
Bungie.
you earn 5 deep sights for a specific weapon, you can craft the perfect roll of said weapon. It is literally the loot in-game of Destiny 2. Perfect weapons. With
Like, if I'm being
perfect
completely
rolls that
honest,
takes
like, yeah,
lots
all
of
of this
time
seems
to get.
predatory
Deep sight
and
activation is the
bad
ability
business
to
practice,
apply deep
but
sight to a
so
weapon
many
that
people
didn't
have
drop with the
continuously
weapon
given them
initially.
their
This new
money
quality of life feature
and
was
support
teased earlier this year
and have just
was
shrugged it off
beyond
as, eh,
exciting, because this would
this
have
is
been
okay.
a very useful avenue for newer returning
Honestly,
players to
Destiny
earn
players,
old craftable
and this
weapons.
is gonna sound a little bit harsh, you deserve it. Yeah, you had this coming. 100% you had this coming. You let them get away with way too much for way too long, and now they're just draining you dry, and sorry.
Weapons that no longer drop in the raw loot pool. Imagine our dismay when Bungie announced that the
Never let
new
this happen in
deep
my
sight
game.
harmonizer
That's
material
for sure.
that is used to apply deep sight is only available on the season pass. 3 from the free track and 3 from the pay track. 6 total per season.
It's just
If
a
you wanna know the math
spreadsheet
behind
of
that,
different
if you're new to the game,
methods
earning
and
every
practices
weapon
to
that no longer
take
drops
your
with
money.
deep sight would take you 24 seasons to get them all. We haven't even had 24 seasons in Destiny's lifespan. Now, there is no method to earn these materials in game. All you can do is wait for Bungie to drip feed you with XP. Unless you don't have to wait. Let's say you want that God roll targeted redaction or that crafted Apex Predator right now. All you need to do
And then they
is
can just
spend
take
some
weapons
silver.
out of
And
the
just like
game.
that, you have enough deep sight to instantly craft
So that
any
you can't
weapon
upgrade
you
it
like.
anymore.
Sure, you have to get it to actually drop, but that's not a problem when you can focus all the seasonal weapons at the helm and farm last switch weapons for a few hours. Purchasing deep sight application allows you to completely bypass the craftable weapon loot grind for any crafted weapon you want. And you know what's crazy? Bungie pulled this exact same stunt with armor transmog. If you want to customize your armor, it was going to be limited and extremely complicated to earn. Oh, but also you could just buy it from the Eververse store. Of course, people were angry, but Bungie was still always safe because at the end of the day, it was only cosmetic. It can't be pay
Right.
to win. Deep sight application is anything but cosmetic. This new feature is now being weaponized by Bungie to implement pay to win mechanics into the season pass. Some of you may be thinking I'm overreacting. Let's listen to that data video just one more time.
A lot of people will now mention the slippery slope argument. Yes, Dado, we start with shaders, emblems, emotes, but who is to say that they won't introduce materials, armor, or weapons in the future? If we see legendary guns for sale, if we see legendary marks for sale, I'm gonna be mad. If we see something like 100 motes of light for $5, I'm gonna be mad. I don't want to see power sold, I don't want to see shortcuts to power sold, nothing. And as long as Bungie does not cross the line of cosmetic items, I think we'll be fine. If Bungie does cross that line, you have my rage.
Looks
It
like I
doesn't
hit
matter if
every
deep sight
point on that
harmonizers aren't
checklist.
directly purchasable from the Eververse store. It doesn't matter if in-game materials, XP bonuses, exotic ciphers, or progression boosts are contained within the vehicle we call the Season Pass, you can still purchase them. The lie Bungie tries to tell us is that these rewards are available to everyone. Therefore, purchasing it early is of no consequence. All of the deep sight harmonizers are beyond rank 50 in the Season Pass.
And then you go into PvP.
99% of the player base will not reach those ranks for weeks, if not months. But if you have money, you can just access more loot, more rewards, more craftable godroll weapons for little to no work. What if the Immortal had been craftable this season? Everyone would have lost their minds. Just imagine if you
Right.
could essentially buy a perfect PvP weapon and terrorize the Crucible with it for weeks or months with little to no competition. All hell would have
That's
broken loose. This doomsday scenario
what it is
not
now.
only possible, but now it is incredibly likely. If this isn't pay to win, fellas, I don't know what is. An argument I want
Oh,
to fill
that's
in the air
right.
before it gains any traction is that Bungie is charging more money because they are making better content / another game. Don't kid yourself, guys. We know that Bungie's team for Destiny has not dramatically increased in size since the Taken King. We also know that Bungie is making a boatload of more money than they did back in Destiny 1 because more players and microtransactions exist. Yes, I think the seasonal model is better for Destiny
Yeah.
as a live service game. Yes, I believe that
Thanks for
microtransactions
funding
have their
Marathon.
place in Destiny. I'm not even paying extra extra for
dorks.
seasons. I buy the deluxe edition of the game every year that has zero effect on me. But I am sick and tired of the player base getting nickeled and dimed at every turn. The constant
No, you're not, because you're still
never-ending
playing.
increases in
You're still
prices
giving them
and
your money.
confusion for new players. I don't even know why we're surprised.
You're not
Bungie
tired of it at all.
GDC 2022 panel celebrated their 3-step plan for Destiny. After winning back player trust and keeping player retention high, their main focus was once again revenue. We took Bungie's side then when this controversy was blowing up, because believe it or not, we like it when Bungie's profitable. That's not a bad thing. But the pursuit of more profits came with the promise that it would be built off that foundation of player trust.
The problem with the pursuit of
Adding pay-to-win
profits.
mechanics and lying to the community destroys player trust. I am not going to support a business model that employs these types of marketing strategies.
Pursuing
I'm
profit
not going to pretend like this is some
can
turning
only
point for
lead to the
Destiny,
pursuit
point
of
no return.
more
This is not
profit.
a
It's not a
crossroad.
one-time
This is
thing.
another step along a very long road that's marching us closer and closer to microtransaction hell. As for Bungie's new game Marathon, why should I give a damn about Marathon? I'm not paying to play Marathon. I'm paying to play Destiny 2. And as a diverse player who plays PvP and PvE, I thought overall things were decent. But then I listened to a clip from Grenader Jake, who lives and breathes PvP, especially Trials.
I think what Bungie touches usually turns to gold. Halo, Destiny, I bet you Marathon's gonna kill it. But do you want some real, honest feedback from me too? I think it's absolutely up that Bungie would abandon this game's PvP essentially, which is what they've done. They've made us basically no new maps.
Yeah,
in, like,
PvP in Destiny 2
and
has
continue
been
to make us
busted
pay
for a
hundreds of
long
dollars a
time.
year so they can go work on their next baby. It feels like complete bullshit, dude. I feel like Destiny players have the right, especially Destiny PvP players, to be pissed. We're still spending over $100 every year to play this game. They literally abandoned us. And I feel like that's really frustrating.
And this really put things into perspective. Bungie abandoned Destiny 2 PvP for their new PvP game. Not only that, but
Yep.
the Marathon is also getting all the bells and whistles Destiny players have been asking for a very long time. Dedicated servers, leaderboards.
We could
new
put this
maps.
into Destiny
Only after
2,
completing
or we could make a
year
new
after
game
year,
and
buying
charge you for that,
expanded seasons
and
year after
pump
year, our PvP
microtransactions
players
into
finally
that as
getting
well.
some attention. More than anything else, it's just sad that this much money has been spent by this many people, and what content do they have to show for it? Almost nothing. Bungie made a promise to make the game better for all players, not just PvE players, all players. Sadly, this isn't the first time Destiny players have been abandoned before. I know a lot of you have never played or don't care about Destiny 1 these days, but 7 years ago, before Silver even existed, the Taken King Collector's Edition was sold, and it included some custom emotes and class items. Back then, these were some of the best looking armor
I
pieces
did
in
play
the
Destiny 1.
game. Several of our editors were young teens at the time, and being Destiny fans, they bought the Collector's Edition. Revisiting those accounts years later, practicing for the Destiny 2 King's Fall raid race, gathering footage for videos and so on, they notice they can't equip their custom Taken King items anymore. Items that they own, items that they paid for, items that Bungie would happily charge them $20 to repurchase years later are sitting
What?
in their inventory, and they can't use them. They aren't the only ones either. Forum posts dating several years back also complained about this exact issue. Bungie
There's
has fixed it.
no
Why wouldn't
way.
they? Repurchasing old content isn't new grounds for Bungie, and paying for content just for it to be unplayable years later isn't a novel concept for them. Bungie doesn't care about their old game. Bungie only cares about their new game, the one that will make them more money, the one that gets the $3.6 billion deals, the one they can use as a vehicle to be as profitable as possible, pay to win or otherwise. That's everything. That's all I got, guys. This isn't a Bungie strike. This isn't me disowning Destiny for the rest of my life. Frankly,
Yes,
that
you
will
can't.
accomplish nothing. As a
Their
wise
hooks
man
are in
once
you.
said, every gaming boycott is one 3-minute cinematic from being over. The final shape, Destiny's climax, is on the horizon. Microtransactions will not kill Destiny. Destiny is not on the verge of collapse. It's in fact the opposite. Destiny is making more money
And
than ever
it
before.
boycotting
It
a
is
video
more
game
players
isn't
than ever
effective
before. And I love that.
because,
But the terrible
one,
truth is, this success gives even more credence
you've
to
been
these
facilitating
business
this
models.
for
It
so
affirms
long
greedy
that
behavior, and it gives Bungie a
even if
giant
you find a
right to
problem with
invent
it,
new ways
there
to
are
take
countless
money
other
and
people who
devalue
don't.
the player. I remember the days when
You've
you walked into a
normalized it.
store and bought a game, and now more than ever,
And
I
you
find
can't
myself
run
diving
that sort of
into a
thing
game
back.
and
Once it's
finding new
normalized,
stories.
it's
A long
normal.
time ago, when Bungie was beneath the
The
cool
only
pillar of
options you
Activision,
have
we
are to
saw
personally
senseless
quit,
greed, the half-baked products,
which
and we
hurts them
rejoiced when
nothing,
Bungie went
or
solo.
open
Little
your
did we
mouth
know,
wide
we were going out
and
the starting
shovel it
gate
in.
and into the fire.
They're
Bungie in
gonna
some
keep
ways
serving
is
it up
worse
hot and
than
fresh.
Activision ever was. If you take anything from this video, I want you to think about everything we discussed, all the actions Bungie has taken objectively, and decide for yourself.
Like I said, I can't even be
draw
mad
the
at
line.
Bungie.
How far is too far. And remember that, because looking back,
It's
we're
genius.
already well and beyond what we would have tolerated 7 years
All
ago.
of their
I
tactics
imagine-
and practices are pure and utter genius. I guess the big takeaway here is just be careful. Know what the signs look like. Because Bungie isn't the first publisher, developer to do this to a game, and they are far, far, far from the last. People always think that I'm really quick to drop games for reasons that they don't fully understand, but it's like, no, I recognize the signs. I know, I just know what to look out for. When I quit Final Fantasy XIV, it was because I was like, oh, they're about to water this baby down. When I drop a game, it isn't out of an immediate frustration. It's not a split-second decision done in like the heat of the moment. It's because I can see where this is headed because it's happened so many times before. When I quit Destiny 2, I was like, this is already way, way, way beyond saving, and it's only going to get worse. And now, well, would you look at that? It's gonna get worse. Marathon is gonna come out, and it's probably going to be pretty good. For a little bit. But then it's gonna go back to doing the same thing that you're already familiar with. Because why would they change? The strategy works. You can go to the Steam page now and see that the strategy works. And they're making money off of it. They don't have a reason to change. And you know, it's fun to dunk on Fortnite for being for children and cringe and all of that, but they aren't this bad. And the people who play it are having fun. I have my gripes with Warframe and the way that it's really not about like being a space ninja anymore. You're just a weird, freakish looking magic kid or whatever. But you can still go play it and have fun. And it's nowhere near this bad. It does have microtransactions, but they make sense. There are plenty of games out there that just make sense. And I want to normalize that. Let's go back to normalizing games that make sense and shoving this garbage into the pit that it deserves to be in. But this has gone on long enough. Let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. I know that it's tailored specifically for Destiny 2, but honestly, it can happen to literally any live service game, which is pretty much all of them nowadays. So it is a discussion that's worth having. Just keep that in mind. And as always, thank you for watching.